Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to the YouTube channel everybody. I'm so excited to have you all back together again. In today's video, we're going to be doing a pretty interesting video. This past weekend, I finally saw Transformers Rise of the Beasts. I thought it was actually pretty good, and I thought to celebrate with that, to finally have completed all 7 Transformers films, I thought I would celebrate with doing a list of Transformers movies, not a tier list, not a ranking, because I kind of feel like some of the films I just consider good, and then of course you have those awfully disastrous films. I'd much rather do it in a way where we can compete which 2 of these movies are better. So today we're doing a bracket fight list to see which one in this category is better. So I thought that would be more interesting than a tier list or a ranking. Let's go ahead and start doing that. Alright, so we are going to be working on this side right here. This is going to be round 1. This will be round 2. And then whatever we get into, and then once we focus on these boxes will be round 2. And then round 3 will basically be these 2 boxes to see which one is the best Transformers movie. So let's start with round 1. And we have Transformers versus Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. So the first Transformers movie I think is actually pretty good. And I was surprised at how good it was, where, yeah, it's this basic human story with this guy and Megan Fox, which I guess it was fine, but it wasn't the best thing in the world. But what at least made it better are the Transformers themselves, where you get the guy that plays Optimus Prime, and has this such, like, heroic voice, like, I am Optimus Prime, the protector of Cybertron. And then you bring characters like Bumblebee and all these other characters, and it's a lot of fun, but then you also get some great robot CGI action. And ahead of its time, it was released in 2007, and it looks really good today. And then you get Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, and I think it kind of creates a story that has a bit more stakes. It uses the human characters in more interesting ways than most. And it also kind of has stakes where you're trying to bring Optimus Prime back. And it kind of has a lot going on, but I feel like it actually focuses on stuff a bit better. And likewise, it just, like the first film, it has a lot of the fun that you want from the Transformers films. So if I'm being honest, for the first one, I'm putting Transformers Revenge of the Fallen on here. And then we get Transformers Dark of the Moon versus Transformers Age of Extinction. And this is where it gets a bit tricky, because I'm not in particularly a big fan of either of these movies. Transformers Dark of the Moon just feels so bland that you're bringing in all these big superstars, and the only good thing about it is the action. There's no really real story here. It's like they just made something new, and I don't really feel like they created something interesting. But then we bring in Transformers Age of Extinction, and it's not good. It's not. But it's at least great. It's at least enjoyable to see Mark Wahlberg team up with Transformers. That's all it really is. And to see kind of the relationship of it there is fun. So, I'm actually gonna... Excuse me. Excuse me again. I'm actually gonna go with Transformers Age of Extinction on that one. And that concludes round 1 on this one. So we'll go on to round 2. Okay, now we're doing round 2. And the first one we have Transformers The Last Knight versus Bumblebee. And yeah, I saw Transformers The Last Knight about a month ago in August. And this is known to be one of the worst movies of all time, the worst Transformers movie of all time. And I was questioning myself, like, why is it? And as I was watching the movie, I'm like, this doesn't seem too bad, like a B minus or something like that. And then I start to understand why this movie doesn't work. because first off, it has too much going on. It's a story about knights and going back in the old days. You start Anthony Hopkins, which I guess he still kind of acts good in this movie, but he's still not very good. And then it just gets so crazy and wild with all the characters, where they develop all these weird, like, little dragon baby creatures of Transformers. They bring in all these voice actors that were in animated films to play Transformers. It's like it's Tom Kenny, John Goodman, Steve Buscemi play Transformers, and then you have all these other wacky characters that are like British, and it's like the comedy doesn't work. You don't really care about the fights in here, even though they do look kind of cool. Besides, and then even with Mark Wahlberg and Isabel Merced, they don't even have the best chemistry, and their characters aren't even that interesting. It just looks like they have too much going on in this film. Plus, I would say, even though I haven't seen it, I would say Isabel Merced and what's his name? Mark Wahlberg, they have better chemistry in a movie called Instant Family, better than this movie. But then we get Bumblebee, and this is where I feel like that the franchise just actually did much better than it was supposed to. Where they actually chose a Transformer, they took that story, they brought it to Earth, and they actually also made a cast where you actually cared about the human characters. Where you bring in Haley Steinfeld, this nobody who was a singer, but then a week before this, in 2018, she was starring as Spider-Gwen in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, as well, and then 3 years later, she was Kate Bishop in Hawkeye in the MCU, and then she's Spider-Gwen again in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And they just created a film that felt like the Iron Giant of the Transformers movies, even though I haven't seen it. It still felt like that. You cared about Haley Steinfeld's character, and the action was really cool. Even the Transformers that they decided to cast, like, they cast Angela Bassett to be one of the Transformers in the film, and she's actually really good at imposing as this Transformer lady. They even cast John Cena in the movie, which I think he's pretty good in, too. So, it just kind of works on every level that it's going for. So, easily, Bumblebee is winning Transformers Last Night versus Bumblebee. I love Bumblebee. And then finally, we have Transformers Rise of the Beast, which it doesn't compete with anything yet, but to talk about it, I thought it was a very good movie. I thought all the action was great. Like Bumblebee, they crafted a cast with Anthony Ramos from Hamilton and In the Heights, and soon-to-be-known Ironheart, who's going to play Hood. And they just crafted such a wonderful cast for this film that I just thought was brilliant. Well, not brilliant, but it was fun. The Transformers in here were fun, with the guy from, it's kind of from Staten Island, the King of Staten Island. Mirage is such a fun character. The Maximals are such fun guys to be, they're such fun people to be around with. And the story was also simple enough, and such badassery. And of course, you know, it also gets emotional with Bumblebee as he dies, but then comes back to fight in the end. And I honestly had a lot of fun. It's not the best one, but it handles a lot of stuff really well. So I'm going to put this one, obviously, this is the winner for it, so you're going here. And that concludes round 2. Alright, so now we have round 3 coming up, and so now we're going to do Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, as well as Age of Extinction. To be honest, this is an easy win. It's Transformers Revenge of the Fallen for me. And then we have Bumblebee versus Transformers Rise of the Beast. If I'm being honest, I just recently saw Transformers Rise of the Beast and Bumblebee. I'm actually gonna put Bumblebee here because I think it's a much better movie. And that concludes round 3, and I guess we'll just do round 4 now, which is which film is better, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen or Bumblebee? And unfortunately, I'm going to have to give this one to Bumblebee. It is the best Transformers movie and always has been since it came out. And that is my list for, that is my bracket fight for which one is the best Transformers movie. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff is in the about section over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.